Prime Day is here again. I woke up early to put together the best tech deals for you, and some of them are actually pretty good. If you need anything this year, this or Black Friday are usually the best times to buy. I'll be doing some shopping for myself as well, so let's jump into it. Okay, so today is Prime Day, and that means there's a lot of deals and maybe a lot of videos showcasing you deals. But let me preface this with, if you weren't gonna buy any of these things anyways, don't be adding things to your shopping list today just because it's on sale. And there's something that I've noticed this year, and it's that the deals aren't as great as usual. So I've been searching for deals all morning, and here we are. We're just gonna start off with some real basic ones. There's also some things where they are on sale, but I don't really recommend getting them. So let's start off with these. These are the Moondrop space travels. They are super budget and they are true wireless, but they sound really nice. And sure, they have some quirks about them, but other than that, for the price, they sound really freaking good. Now, is this a super deal? Not necessarily, because the original price of them is already so cheap that a couple dollars off doesn't necessarily mean that much, even though it's a large percentage. So it looks like $23.99 is the lowest that we've seen it in a while. But for a $30 product that you'll typically see with like a 10% coupon, it's all right. It's still a deal because they're so budget anyways. They perform way higher than their price point in the first place. So if you don't know about them, it's a deal regardless of whether it's on sale or not. I have several of these and I love them in all their colorways. So moving on, let's go to something on the other end of the spectrum that is super unnecessary and super not budget, but it is on sale. I have one of these from a long time ago. I actually really love it because you can set the temperature using this knob on the screen to exactly what you want it to be, but also it just looks nice. It just sits there, and if you want some tea, you can press the button to turn it on. It'll warm up really quickly, way faster than if you put a kettle on a stove and you just wait. And it has a gooseneck spout for those of you who are really into making your fancy coffee. This is a great price for an electric kettle, basically a fancified electric kettle. I got one of these refurbished open box for about $160, so right now it's $145, and that is a great deal. I know most electric kettles are gonna run you like $30 to $50. If you want a real fancy one, you can consider this one. Moving on to something a little less fancy, something that's been out there in the market for many years now, but despite trying all the other headphones, I still go back to these every time because I have an iPhone and a MacBook. It's just convenient. It connects so fast. I know they're always charged. I can flip them open and I can see the battery life right away. It pings at me when it's running out of batteries. So it's really convenient. Do they have the best audio quality? No. Do they have the best noise cancellation? Also, no, but it's pretty decent at everything, and combined with the convenience factor of just being in the Apple ecosystem, which is really what they're trying to do with Apple, then these are a great price right now. Compared to the usual $199, I think they totally bloated this list price. This is a lie. They aren't usually ever $250 from what I've seen. Like, never have they gone up to $250. That's just not it. Typically they're around $199, and now we're seeing it at $149. It could be that Apple's also getting ready to launch another version. I am not the most well versed in Apple's launch timelines. Maybe they are getting ready to launch the Pro 3s, in which case you can get some Pro 2s for a budget, and they're still great. I actually like using old tech, like my MacBooks and M2, not an M4. But speaking of MacBooks and stuff, they are all on sale for like, I don't know, $150, $200 off. But you don't have to buy a new one if you don't want one. You can get an older one and it still works just as good. Speaking of older tech that is getting overshadowed by new tech, this is the Garmin Forerunner 955 GPS running watch. Now, this watch is great for triathlons, and I'm really considering it because I myself have been running a tri. Okay, I haven't been running a triathlon, but I've been training for a triathlon the past 6-ish weeks, and there's something that this watch has that other watches don't have, and that is open water swimming. Not that I do any open water swimming because I'm terrible at swimming, but it has actual buttons. It also has a touchscreen. It's got a 15-day battery life, and I've been using the Garmin Venu 2S, which is a older model, and the battery life is actually really freaking good. Even if you're tracking workouts every single day, you got like your watch GPS on for every single workout, it's really awesome. But if you're not into the whole athlete thing, this watch probably isn't for you. It's a fitness watch with smartwatch features, not necessarily a smartwatch with some fitness features like an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch. So the primary purpose is fitness, and if you're not into the whole fitness thing, this is going to be a huge waste of your money. But if you look at the price here, we've got $350, $370. Right now we're down to $350 again, so not the largest sale. In fact, not really. This is a little bit of an old model, but they are supporting the old models still. Although Garmin is entering a weird phase in their business, where they're trying to introduce a subscription and gatekeep everything behind that. So I don't agree with that. So you can look into that watch if you want. Right now it's $350. I know it's still a lot of money, but it lasts a long time. This video is sponsored by Narwal, and we've been using their Freo Z10 robot vacuum for a while now. And honestly, it's made our lives way easier. You know how older robot vacuums would get stuck constantly or just ignore half the room? The Z10 is not that. It almost never gets stuck, even around cables or under chairs, and it actually finishes the job without us babysitting it. It vacuums and mops, and it maps your space with LiDAR, so you can choose which rooms to clean and when, all through the app. But what really makes the Z10 special is how it mops. The pads don't just drag across the floor, they spin in circles, like you do with your hands when you're scrubbing a stubborn stain. And the arms extend outward slightly to reach corners and tight spots where dirt hides. It's the first time we've seen a robot mimic how people actually clean. And the way it vacuums long strands of hair is genius with Narwal's detangling system, and it just powered through without getting jammed. The side brushes actually open and close to loosen long hair and threads, and the floating roller brush has a cone-shaped spiral design that keeps hair from getting tangled. The hub it comes with handles the maintenance, it empties the bin, it washes and dries the mop pads with hot air, and it lets you know if it needs more water or detergent. You barely have to touch it. We set it to clean our office every morning before we get in, and it just happens. We used to pay $100 per visit for a cleaner, but this paid for itself in a month. And seriously, it's on a huge Prime Day discount right now. If they hadn't sent us one, I'd be buying it myself. Let's move on to something that I plan to purchase a lot of after I see why they have so many freaking options. This is a micro SD card. Yes, a micro one, not the usual one that's like an inch long, but the micro ones that I use for our microphones and the DJI Pocket Osmo. I just need a bunch of these, so I think I'm gonna actually add these to cart once I figure out which ones. If you're looking for micro SD cards for very niche purposes such as that, by all means, go for it. Same with this. This is a pretty good deal too. I have a bunch of these, but we're always losing them and I always need more. The Pro edition just has faster write speeds. So if you film in 4K or like 4K slow-mo or anything that just takes a lot of data, I go between 128 and 256 just because our files are so big. So I'm going to earmark these two for later. So next, we've got the Logitech MX Master 3S. Not really a deal here. They say it is, but this is not a deal at all. If you're considering this one, I actually recommend another product that I'll talk about soon. Look at this. I've purchased this so many times. I've had an MX Master 3 and then two 3Ss, but it has two big problems. The first one being it has a super slow polling rate. And that means you can't really game on it at all. It's terrible. It lags so bad. But the second is that it's a very heavy mouse. So you use it a long time, all day, every day, and your shoulders get tired, and then your scapula get tired. Then suddenly 10 years later, you have a shoulder injury and you don't know why. Could be the mouse. So if you're thinking about don't get this. I'm going to talk about a mouse later that you'll definitely want to consider. Okay, another mouse. This is the Logitech G Pro X SUPERLIGHT number 1, not number 2. I still really like this mouse. I think despite its old age, it's still doing very well. The white one's for $94 right now. And if you don't want to charge it, you can buy their special mouse pad, which I personally think looks ugly. It's a great mouse. It's old, but it's still really good. And there are a lot of budget mouse options that are better than this mouse. Next, something that you probably all think is really stupid, but it's actually really helpful. Remember last year on Prime Day, I was like, take care of your teeth. And I was like, okay, go buy yourself an electric toothbrush because it's better than you doing this. And a lot of people actually bought themselves an electric toothbrush. So I'm very proud of you. Now this year, we're going to take care of hearing, because hearing is very important as well. If you go into really loud concerts, or if you're around construction a lot, your ears are getting hurt just from listening. So these earplugs, I have several. I have some for myself and some for my husband. But these earplugs, you can still hear things after you put them on. Like if you go to a really loud concert, it's very, very loud and you're rumbling and you're like, oh God, the bass is killing me. You put these in and you actually enjoy the music more because you're not rumbling or your ears aren't hurting. They're worth it. They're actually really cheap for what it is. And you hear the music and you enjoy it, and they're also reusable. You just alcohol swab it and let it dry, and that's it. And that's what, $15 each ear to protect your hearing for your life. So if you are a frequent goer to concerts, festivals, and live events, consider checking these out. It's a good price. I recommend it. Next, another thing that I recommend, which is also a really good price right now, because I bought mine for $99 and now it's $69. Wow, it's $30 off. So Nothing Ear Aids, the more budget version of the Nothing Ear headphones. They are Bluetooth, they're wireless. I don't know why they advertise ChatGPT integration. I don't think that's a very good feature. It doesn't matter anyways. So to use that, you need the Nothing app and the ChatGPT app, and they sort of have to like be mingling together. So they have noise cancellation, which is really good. Not as good as AirPods, but still really good. And I like the yellow, although when you put them on, you're not going to see any of the yellow. So, keep that in mind. It doesn't really matter what color you buy. Price wise, we're looking pretty good now. Yeah, usually they're $99. I'm pretty sure I bought mine for $99. But $69. Great price, great music quality, really cool looking. I like Nothing as a company, and I hope they get better and release more products. Moving on to a good work mouse. I don't recommend this one for gaming because it's a really heavy mouse. It lets you add more weight to it. You can't take away weight, but it adds more weight to it. If you want all the buttons in your mouse, look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, lots of buttons in your mouse, and you want the infinite scroll wheel, this is a great work mouse. Great for video editing. If you press this button right here, you can toggle the infinite scroll wheel on or not. And then the other one toggles where it has like a notched click. Moving on. This is something that's not for everybody. Now, if you are an avid reader of the ebook variety, this is like a Kindle, except smaller and more like a phone, but without the SIM card. So it runs Android OS. It can do much more than just read books. You can browse the internet. You can download all the apps. Basically, you have access to the Google Play Store. The only difference between this and a phone is that you have no SIM card, but it also is made of e-ink. So it has like e-paper, like the Kindle, like the Remarkable. One-handed use. I like to carry this thing around when I'm going places. A Kindle, it feels like it's more like a nightstand type of tech. It's much bigger, it's a little bulkier, but this feels like you can take it anywhere and you can do things with it. It's like you're reading a book and you're like, oh, I need to look that up. You have the internet on here. It also takes pictures, terrible pictures, but it takes pictures. It plays music. You can connect it to Bluetooth. The only problem here is that it's expensive because it costs a lot more than a Kindle. It's not a huge discount. I mean, it sort of is. Usually it's $300 and now it's $270. So it's still a lot. They do sell open box versions on their website. It's for a very specific person. Then you can think about it. But if not, Kindles are pretty dang awesome. Let's move on to something random. Random, but also not random. This is the Graco Extend to Fit convertible baby car seat. It's a great baby car seat for any of you who wants a baby car seat. And it's $150 and your baby's going to use it for a really long time. Now it has this, like, I don't know what this is called, like an infant protector thing if your baby is small, and then you'll take it out afterwards. The cool thing is that there's this thing down here, this black plastic piece that you can pull out, so as your baby's legs get longer, your baby can relax and enjoy. Look at that. extra leg room for your baby. Very cool. Or toddler. Very cool. And this head thing goes up as your baby gets older as well. So $150, I think that's a good price. I bought mine for a lot more than that. So if you're in need of a car seat, get this one. Moving on to the Kindles of the world. So this is the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite. I have a Paperwhite, and I like the Paperwhite because it's more water resistant than the normal ones, I think. It also has like the light looks better. My husband has a normal one. I have the Paperwhite. I think the light looks better. I really like it. I really don't charge it very often, maybe like once every 2-ish months. And I read a lot every night since the dawn of time. And the best thing about Kindles and ebooks in general is that if you have access to the public library, you can download an app called Libby. And in Libby, you can place hold on library books and then check them out and then send them to your Kindle. But it's basically free books forever and ever. And if you're patient, you can get access to all the books forever without having to pay many dollars for books, because books are expensive. Even the ebook kind is expensive. So I think a Kindle is worth its weight. Okay, that was a normal Kindle. If you're new to the Kindle world, I recommend a normal Kindle, like the cheaper Kindle. Not the Paperwhite, not the Signature, just a normal Kindle, because it's really affordable. The normal Kindle tends to be the cheapest one. It usually is about $100. But if you read comic books or children's books or any kind of books with color, then the Colorsoft is the one to think about. This one is just like the Paperwhite Signature Edition, except it has color. So $180, I think that's a really good deal. That's a great deal for Colorsoft. Speaking of Amazon, there are many Amazon Alexa products that are on sale. Now, if you like Amazon Alexa, then you do you and you go for it. But personally, I hate Alexas and any of those smart devices that think it's helping your house, but in reality, it's just listening to you and trying to take all your information so it can advertise to you. But if you're into that, you do it. They're all on sale. Basically, the Echo, the Home, the Spot, the Show, the Dot, they are all on sale. But if you want a smart home, you don't have to use these. You can use Home Assistant on a Raspberry Pi, and then you control everything. There's no Alexa, there's no Google to listen to you. You do it all by yourself, and it's really easy. Let's just move on. This is the Fanttik T1 soldering iron kit. Now, if you remember back in the old days when keyboards used to require you to solder it, then you remember that soldering irons were a mess. So now they have wireless soldering irons, and in this kit you basically get everything that you need, although if you desolder a lot, this probably is not enough for you. But you get everything. You get the little pad to clean it up, you get the iron. It has a really easy temperature adjust knob, and you get different sticks. I don't know what these are called. Different sticks. Before, when you bought an iron, you would have to buy the sticks separately, so I think that's pretty cool. Mine is sitting not in here in the project room, but it's great. How much is it? $55. Not a super deal, so if you don't have to get it right now, it looks like it goes on sale like every month. It's a great product. Same with this. So you remember when I talked about this vacuum, the smaller one? Well, I then got myself one of these, a bigger one, and this thing is awesome. It's so great. Every week, ideally every week, I should take this thing out and go clean the car, but it probably happens about once a month. It's super easy to use too. This screen tells you how much battery life it is. You can turn it on. You can up the power or not here. And this end extends out. And it has all these attachments so you can clean your car, which is awesome. I haven't used it for anything else. Oh, I've used it to pick up bugs in the office, in the corners of the room where it's hard to vacuum. Great for that too. If you like picking up bugs, really good. $85. Yeah, just like the iron, Fanttik products tend to go on sale every month, so you don't need to get it now. You don't have to be in a rush at all. Next, the SHARGEEK 170 power bank. I've had this thing for a long time, and it was just in the corner. It has so many powers, so many ampere hours. But I really like this thing because it has fast charging and slow charging and everything in between. So the other day, my Remarkable died, and you can't just use a fast fast charger on it, like it won't charge. So I had to use this thing. Thankfully I had this thing just laying around and it was charging at like 5 watts or something, and then it was finally back to life. So it is nice to just have something like this laying around in case your tech products do die, but if you have no need for it, then you don't have to get one. It is massive, but it has this screen here and it'll tell you how much it takes this thing to get to 100%. It'll tell you how fast it's charging other things. $99. Oh, it's not loading. I would check the extension if you want to buy this and see if it is a deal or not. Now back to the mouse, where if you were going to get an MX Master 3, I didn't recommend it. I recommend this instead. This is called the Keychron M6 and I'm using the white one right now, which I don't recommend. I recommend the black version. The white version looks terrible and it gets dirty easily, and it just looks like a toy compared to the black version. So you've got 2 modes. There are 3 versions of this mouse. The only difference is the polling rate, 1,000 versus 4,000. And depending on the price that you want to pay or what features you want, some cost more than the other. And it has the infinite scroll wheel. You can press the button to toggle it to not be infinite. It has a horizontal side wheel, 2 horizontal buttons, and then just normal buttons. You've got Bluetooth, 2.4G and wireless, and you have a bunch of DPI and polling options. It's great. Let's move on to the new upgraded edition that is not on Amazon yet. And it has 8,000 polling. So the 8,000 hertz polling rate is out. Now this one is a little different. This one has a silent button. That sounds more similar to the MX Master 3 than these mouse, which has a little bit of a click to it. The new version is silent and it sounds great. And the AK one also has a magnetic metal scroll wheel, just like an MX Master 3. So it looks better, it feels a little bit better, and it's silent if you're into that. But you don't have to use the 8,000 hertz polling rate. I think that's a little extra. It's a great mouse. $40 for the 1,000, $56 for the other one. It's $10 cheaper. That counts. And then I'm gonna make another video on keyboards, but this is my all-time favorite keyboard right now, and it has been for the past couple months now. It just looks awesome. It's got woodsy accents, it's got a sleek colorway, it's got nice keycaps, and it's HE. And if you don't game, then that's fine. I actually like HE as a non-gamer on my PC. I don't game on my PC, I have a Steam Deck, but HE is great. It makes me type faster. I feel like it's more responsive, and it sounds awesome. Okay, this one is probably their non-updated version. Keychron recently updated like all the stabilizers of their keyboards, basically all of them. Now they're a lot better. So if you buy any Keychron keyboard that's been made in the recent months, you'll be pretty happy with it. So this is a great price, $112 for a HE keyboard. Looks like usually it's $140. On sale, great price. Let's move on to one of the headphones that I really like personally, and I know it's the old model, but you know what? It folds up, unlike the new models. Look at that. Look at that, it folds up. The new models, they don't. They just stay like this, and you put it in a weird sleeve, and it's terrible. I don't know why they designed it like that. Let's see, 250, 228, and now or 194. So great. They have very, 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 very good noise canceling. And if you don't like yard care, or you don't like loud trucks, or whatever, you're in a loud environment, these are awesome. Next, the CalDigit TS3 Plus. I got mine for $210. I should have waited, huh? So $168. Great dock if you use a laptop setup and you want to connect to a bunch of other things. I moved my TS3 Plus at home, so we're currently going to build a home setup, and I upgraded my current setup to the TS5 Plus. A very overkill, future-proof dock. If you don't have a newer device, I do not recommend the TS5 Plus. I recommend the TS3 Plus because it's more compatible with most laptops out there. So it's great. It has everything you need. I love it. You can look at all the ports on the back, and after that you can decide if you like it or not. As far as pricing goes, this is a good time to buy. let's move on to, I think we already talked about we talked about the Forerunner 955. So the 255 has a few less features, but it's $100 more affordable than the 955. They have the smaller version for small hands like myself, and it looks like none of them are available, so that's unfortunate. And then the other one, this one's more of a normal people watch. It's less of a training watch, but it tracks your steps and it'll tell you all your stuff. And this one's just less rugged than the other ones. It actually looks very similar to my Vino 2S. So great battery life as well. Yeah, around 200. Yeah, it's all right. And that concludes it for our general tech deals. I hope that was a very helpful video, and maybe I went on a little bit too long. If you have any deals, feel free to post them down below and I'll check them out.